Stuff like this makes me not want to have kids, because if I were to find out that my child was out in the middle of Mexico and got left in the jungle twice. I have a gun. I'm joking. I'm going to beat you with a bat.
Hey everybody, I'm January.
And I'm Marz.
And this is FEMMES LRG presents Femininity and whatever we want to talk about. Today, we're going to talk about Femininity and Sedona Prince. Marz, have you been seeing what's going on? Have you been seeing what's going on? It's been crazy.
I can't escape it. And what's crazy is, like, I feel like I've been hearing about Sedona for the past, 2 years. And it just never gets any better. Every single time I hear about them, it's a worse story than the last. I'm amazed that there are this many ladies that are, still signing up to be next in line. Enough. And I feel like, I literally said this in January, I feel like they've been in college way too long. And this is coming from somebody that didn't finish, but I feel like they've been in college way too long.
They have been in there. They're super senior, but I'm gonna get into why they're super senior. And it's gonna make sense. It's gonna make sense. But yeah, before we get into all of that craziness, because that's gonna take a minute. Marz, what's in the media today? What is going on? What's on the docket?
Oof, you guys. Let's start off with just easy, light, and then we'll get into some of the more messy stuff. But this is kind of messy too. But Kendrick is confirmed for Superbowl X. Child.
It's
the way I was about to act like I know.
I think it's 59. I don't watch football like that no more. Everyone's like, "Oh my god, football's back." I was like,
if there was a halftime performance every time, I would watch it. But
right.
No,
yeah, that's actual fact.
It's too long.
Yeah.
I feel like they move 2 feet and then there's flags and then everything stops for 10 minutes. I can't do it. But Kendrick Lamar has been confirmed for this year's Super Bowl. Just a couple of fun facts. This is his second appearance. He was just at the 2023 Super Bowl, I think. It was recent.
He was
whatever.
Yeah, because he was a guest star, right? He was
anniversary. Yeah. 50-year anniversary of hip hop, or was it 100? No, it was 50.
50th anniversary of hip hop. Yes, it's 50.
That Super Bowl, he was there, and now he's getting his own headlining Super Bowl performance. Also, given everything that happened with Avery, it is just Drake's never performed. He's never made an appearance at the Super Bowl. He most likely never will. The conspiracy is that because Jay-Z is the artist curator now for each halftime Super Bowl. Rock Nation is the devil. Rock Nation, you will crumble. It's fascinating to see that he was able to do what he did to him lyrically and socially in the beef, and then do the pop out on Juneteenth, and now we'll be doing the Super Bowl in February, which is Black History Month.
Right.
He is. Somebody made a tweet that was like, Kendrick is the type of dude to disappear when the bus goes in front of them.
Yeah, I saw that tweet too. I think just the intention that he has in getting under Drake's skin. I mean, of course, being having your own Super Bowl.
It's so very intentional, but it's just it's just not enough to where it can make him seem crazy if he does say anything.
Yeah,
it's masterful. Yeah, that is one sicko. I'm obsessed with it. He's sick. He's sick.
No, he really is. Yeah. No, the commitment is crazy. I don't even know if I could see Drake doing the Super Bowl for real this soon.
I could.
Am I crazy for thinking that?
He's got hits.
Yeah, he does have hits. He does.
He's got hits.
Yeah.
but I don't see it. Yeah, but yeah, Kendrick's just like full commitment to hateration. I mean, it's something to behold. I will always aspire. But next on the docket, unfortunately, sadly, Angel Reese. Oh my goodness! And because you know what, I was just thinking about Asia and their
Asia Wilson, yeah.
Asia and Bam and their like perpetual like never ending soft launch. I'm exhausted. But Angel Reese is unfortunately out for the rest of the season due to an injury. Do you know the exact injury? What happened?
Yeah. It's a wrist injury because she posted like a TikTok or a video on Twitter, and it was a brace on her wrist. And I was like, dang. So, you know, you need a wrist. You can't really work around that. So I feel for her.
Yeah.
It made me sad.
She had this like really long post about like, you know, telling everyone that she won't be playing the rest of the season, and within it, you know, there was a part that I didn't even really think about, which is her saying that she hasn't really had an opportunity to slow down since she started college, and this is going to be an opportunity for her to like finally rest. I'm sure the final decision lands on her whether she wants to continue, because if given the opportunity, the league will wear you until your bones break, basically. I'm sure they don't try to intentionally do that, but like, I'm happy that she's able to do this. Anytime an athlete, specifically a black athlete, is like, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. I respect it so much, and I champion it every time, because like for so long, so many of us have been made to just like think that it's okay, or like that was also a part of like the competitive like mindset of like our generation's upbringing, because we were brought up, a lot of us, by boomers, but you know, a lot of Gen X, and Gen X, if they weren't, they were raised by the generation before boomers, which is like, do you want to be a winner, or do you want to like, you know, like, so a lot of people, specifically black athletes, already were told to be twice as good as everybody else. So, you know, I'm sure subconsciously there's always that like, I don't want to seem weak, I don't want to, you know, but
yeah,
if she wants to actually have a career for as long as somebody like LeBron, like, but also he's a superhuman, but you gotta listen to your body. So I'm happy for her.
Same. I'm like sad that it had to end this way, but I'm happy that she gets the rest, because I was seeing some discourse of where, you know, just questioning the amount of time that rookies have from when they come straight from college. Because literally, like, after, let's say you make it all the way, your team's really great, you make it to the championship, then you're a senior and you go straight to the WNBA, like, straight into practice, straight into playing. Like, there's no break. And it's especially hard for women's teams because of just where everything falls. So, yeah, like, it needs to be interrogated. Like, there needs to be more rest. And, you know, I hate that she was forced to get this rest in this way. But I'm hoping that she gets the rest she deserves, and hope she gets better soon. I think with her, like, I don't think she feels pressured to, like, you know, not look weak or anything. I think she's very strategic in what she does, and very smart about the best thing for her body and her brand overall. And, you know, we've seen a lot of horror stories of like people being overworked, but even LeBron, like, he gonna get hurt. You know, he takes his breaks, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why that man been around for so long. That man gonna have a stress related injury or something where he
feel a little bit wrong one day.
Soreness, I gotta stay, you know what I'm saying? Like, they get on him for that. But these athletes need to rest. Like, all these games, like, it's just not natural. So, yeah.
No, it's not.
Shout out
it's
to
not.
her.
Just putting shout out to Angel. Shout out to her not falling into the belief that you have to push your body to the fucking insane measures. But speaking of doing things to your body you shouldn't be doing, listen, y'all, these YNs, these young men out here are about to make me revamp Dare. I'm gonna bring it back. The Galaxy Gas. Something needs to happen. Something
This
needs
getting
to happen.
scary.
And I need
It's
it to
getting
happen
really bad.
Quickly. You know you have 30 minutes.
Quickly.
30, yes. No, I am... They're putting holes in their brain and they're so gleeful. They're happy about it. So what are your thoughts, Fran?
It's sad. It's very sad because, like, you're trying to tell them to have, like, to live, but then there's, like, what's their reason to live in, like, how the world is. Like, I can see why they want, like, a little break from this reality. I could see that. Even... But, I mean, at some point, like, you know when it's, like... I just feel like for these kids, like, they're just searching for, like... They've done so much that they're searching for that, like, just happiness, and it's sad. It's sad. I'm not endorsing it, but what I am saying is we got to fix the world up. Why the world looking like this? Like, they don't have a will. They're like, oh, it's whatever. Like, and granted, like, you know, growing up, you know, you're not as smart. Like, you're like, what's the point of this? What's the point of that? Like, I don't think they get it. And then on top of that, their brain's definitely not going to get it because they're putting holes in their brain. So... I don't know. It just makes me sad because now, you know, like we were talking about, I feel like it's more kids of color, black kids. Like, I'm like, it feels intentional.
So let's get into that a little bit. Miles, I'll send, you know, some pictures of, like, the Galaxy gas, the flavors or whatever, but the most popular one, it's the same thing they do with the vapes. It's specifically these crazy fusion flavors, that, like, you know, they make it look cool, they make it look fun. Now, like, a lot of the rappers are like, it's in the videos, so now it's like, it's cool. Aesthetically, it's cool, to a certain crowd. But that's a lot of young people are. So, specifically, I want to get into the Galaxy Gas and how, like, insane this is, because nitrous oxide is not illegal to purchase because, like we explained in a previous pod, it's used for whipped cream or to make, like, I don't know what else you can do with it, but I know from literal first-hand experience that you can use it for whipped cream. So you can't really stop the sale of nitrous oxide until they figure out, because you can even get it out of the, like, cans you get at the grocery store that have the nozzle. If once you push all the cream out, you can huff what's left over in the can. So I don't really know what to do, but right now something needs to be done about Galaxy Gas specifically, or any other equivalent of who is selling specifically these nozzles with a tip. You're not using that for whipped cream. You're not. And they're specifically targeting young black men and young black kids. It's horrible.
It's scary.
Something needs to be done. Something needs to be done. This needs to go all the way up to the Supreme Court. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's getting pretty, like, diabolical. Like, they have to do something. They have to do something.
We have to do it. So fix it. Fix it.
Yeah. Dang, man. I don't know. I don't think until white kids get a hold of it, they're not going to do anything. There's no way. I just don't see it.
I mean, the white kids are the opioid crisis. They don't do nothing about that. They're dying of fentanyl all the time.
Yeah, but at least they got Narcan on deck. I mean, you know.
That's true, but those are easily accessible in, like, the major cities. Like, here in Orlando, it's easy to get your hand on some Narcan. New York City, Portland. Did you hear that? Portland, LA, you can get Narcan pretty accessibly. But yeah, it's all of these other outside cities where it's horrible.
Yeah, you're right. Man. Y'all, we gotta change this. Bring Dare back.
I'm not. Y'all think I'm playing? Do not be looking at me crazy once you see, or whatever it was that MTV had, Truth, where that was mainly to, like, stop smoking, anti-smoking ads. We need it for the.
They did scare me with those. Yeah,
right,
for sure.
They were very serious.
Scary. Yeah,
they were very serious. All right, so now into some messy mess. Ice Spice is over. Ice Spice is literally over. At least she's now like, she doesn't have the respect. I don't think she even did. She didn't have any respect as an artist, but now she has no respect as a person, kind of like Drake. But she was put on blast. I'm gonna make this as condensed as possible. Cleotrapa posts a like 6-part series on TikTok about her tour experience after going on tour with Ice Spice. Now to give just a little background, Cleo been popping, been having viral sounds. Let's get the bill per, like, no, she's been popping since well before Ice. Ice comes on the scene. They meet each other at like events, parties, decide, this girl's cute, let's be friends. That happens a lot in girl culture. You're pretty, I'm pretty, let's hang out. So they had only ever really hung out at like events, parties, clubs, never personally like, oh, come over my house. Like, but they had been seen out so many times. Cleo is in, you know, a video or two. So the general public, at least I assumed that they had actually been friends or had been friends for some time. Come to find out, none of that was true. They had been friends for like maybe a year. And Ice was like really, really like riding on this friendship essentially existing as real to the general public because it gives her a little bit of validity. It'll make sense later on. But basically Ice reaches out to Cleo, says, hey, join me on my tour, like a day before the tour starts. Cleo's like, I don't really have much prepared, or I don't really, she's like, you'll be with me, you gotta worry about nothing, just come, I got you. So push come to shove, Ice did not have her. And like I said, Cleo has a full like 6-part series about the entire experience. Just a few highlights. Anytime food was ordered, or you know, they made it very clear.
That's not funny. That's fucked up.
They made it very clear that it was never, she was not in the budget, and that she needs to figure out her own stuff when it comes to where she's staying at the hotels, where she's getting her meals, things that are normally catered and like, you know, the talent is accounted for. Never once getting her bags out of the hotel. Homegirl wanted a chicken salad. They all went to a steakhouse, left her on the bus. Her and the hairdresser and the stylist left them on the bus like the help. Several people have come forward to confirm Cleo's story, one of which is the guy that was the DJ for her. He just posted like a couple videos and everything is lining up with what he said. Like, he was like, even he had trouble like trying to get into the venue. They're telling him go over here, go over there, giving him some like visitor pass that literally says Cleo's help. There's so much, but
what?
There's so much. But to wrap it, to bring it around, Cleo brings all of this to Ice's attention at the end of that leg of the tour. And Ice was basically like, it's giving ungrateful. It's giving, like, you should have, like, why didn't your management make sure that you had accommodations in place? Like, remember that one time we went to the Italian restaurant and you ate all the food, like a vacuum, and then the waiter came back and they were like, where did all the food go? So, you know, of course, Cleo's like, oh, you're weird. You're weird and, like, soulless. I don't think you're ever going to really have any friends. Ice is like, well, you're never going to have a career. You bum.
Oh, how the tables are
and so here we are, and you know what? I'm happy for it because, I want to say, no. I need to be better, and every day I need to be a better person. So what I'm gonna say is, she was an industry plant. We knew that from the jump. I thought she was pretty. I thought she was a little bit funny and silly. And, you know, she stayed in her lane. They did the sweep of her tweets. However, now looking back and knowing that there are no tweets earlier than 2020, a red flag. But, you know, everyone wiped her tweets and she was just, like, being silly and, like, bisexual and, like, funny online. So I was like, okay, work. I kind of live for this girl. Fart, poop. I thought it was very funny. But once it got to the point, and somebody acknowledged this on Twitter, once it got to the point where she had decided to willingly be Taylor's token to like save her in that moment where she was losing her fan base.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
I was like, you know, I can't ever get down with no tap dancing. That just ain't how I live. Once I know you doing you doing the soft shoe, I'm not cool with it anymore. So she was already kind of dead by that point. Also, I'm not listening to her music. I don't know who is. You think I miss poopy, poop, fart. I can't do it. So I'm not listening to her. You know, she had a cute tagline. I thought it was funny. She first came out. That boomed. Any viral TikTok sound will get you far enough in life. And she signed a 360. She'll be gone. Ain't nobody gonna give a damn about an Ice Spice in 5 years' time. But what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I just thought it was like a lot. I couldn't watch the full 7 parts or 6 parts that Cleotrapa had. I just took her word for it. I was like, you know what, friend? I see the dynamics. I believe you. You ain't gotta prove it to me. When I got the cliff notes, I just was like, what is going on? Like, why are you treating people like this? I felt like there definitely was like a colorism thing going on. You could obviously sense it. You could sense the jealousy. You could sense the weirdness. Like, I feel like if you're darker or you're brown skin, like legit brown skin, like you've experienced something like that, and you're just like, why are you being weird to me? And it's literally because you may be like talented and black. Like, it's actually strange. So I definitely believe Cleotrapa for sure. I wasn't surprised by Ice Spice because I remember when she first came out and I talked to you about it. I'm like, something about her's weird, friend. Like, she don't really sing for real. She's like, oh no, she cute. And I'm like, I guess, but I'm like,
I was like, she's so cute. She's so funny.
And I just was like, shit ain't hitting for real. And I don't know, like, and I kind of was on her side at first with the whole Nicki Minaj stuff, because, you know, Nicki's her own. Because
she is crazy.
She's crazy.
But it wasn't very, like, ha-ha moment because you alienated yourself in the industry to get this woman's favor, and then she tried to get over on you because you're young and you've already signed a pretty terrible deal, but you'll make even less money with this deal. So you, with having enough common sense of the industry, having been in this point for 2 years, say no. Now she hates you, and then, like, you get nothing. You don't even get her attention anymore. And I know that stings because she seems to be the type, clearly. I mean, she's famous now, so she clearly loves attention. But watching her on stage, like, now, like, putting everything together, like, she has the stage presence and charisma of a lamppost. Like, it's incredible.
Nothing. It's giving
like
nothing.
A lamppost after 7 p.m.
I feel like she don't even twerk for real, you know, because at least sometimes you up there, at least you could twerk, you could dance, like, none of that. I'm just like,
she's not even giving her most. Like, Megan gets out there and she is throwing it as if it's the last opportunity she has to do so. She's giving full choreo. I'm not saying, and every time I get into that, if I'm talking to friends, they're like, well, not everyone has to dance. I'm not saying everyone has to give me a full boom cack 1632 cap. You don't. But I'm saying you need to get up there and do something. If you're not singing, if you're not dancing, if you're barely rapping, Adele, she is a park and bark stationary. That woman is either next to a piano or standing still. But she is singing. She is singing the roof off that place. I'll accept that. But she's not even doing, at least, she can't even give a little twirl. I'm like, oh my goodness.
She's just there. And the fact that you really put all the people through that, because, you know, like, working in entertainment, I know what it's like to, like, be in a space where you're not familiar, you don't have nobody with you, and you stuck with people that hate you. That's a different type of pain. It's a different type of, like, just meanness. And for her to do that to multiple people of the crew, done. Done. No.
Yeah.
No.
And just to touch on one more, just because of the whole, like, not feeding her thing or not making sure that she was good, I don't know that I have a single friend around me right now that would do me like that. I don't know. That one is hard for me to wrap my head around. Like, the girl wanted a chicken salad. They said no. ISIS management team only. A chicken salad.
A chicken salad. A chicken salad.
That
it
is
should be. It's terrible. It's terrible. Because I feel like it's the most inhumane thing you can do. It's the most inhumane thing you can do. You know she don't have access to stuff. A lot of these tour places, you could be in the middle of nowhere. She could really have been in danger. And you're literally just like,
yes,
oh, no, you
a lot
starve.
of people were mentioning that. Like, she didn't even really know, like, just how much danger she honestly had put herself in. But, yeah.
Yeah.
Insane.
Crazy.
But lastly, we did want to touch on Rich homie Quan has left us.
Suddenly.
It does open up for me personally the time for everybody to finally have the conversation, because the reality of it is, whoever's listening, people are going to do drugs. They're going to do them. So I think the goal for all of us should be harm reduction. And let's talk about Narcan. Let's talk about what not to mix with what. Let's talk about testing. Test strips. They're accessible, especially if you're rich. Like, the conversation needs to be had. Even if you're not, obviously, especially if you're not. But if you have the access to them, get them. Where were you when you found out he left us, friend?
When did he pass? I think I was here in New York. I was in the bed, and I had seen like a tweet, and it was referencing like a bunch of people like, hey, we lost this person, now this person. I was like, are they talking about Rich Homie Quan? But it didn't really like hit me. And then when I started seeing like the reaction videos and people just like, I don't know, it was when I saw BET make the announcement and it was like Rich Homie Quan has passed away at 34. I like was shook. Like I was shook because like for me that was like prime college. Like that was like going to the club and like being out for the first time, because you know like I was in a very like strict household, so like going to college and going to the club, listening to Lifestyle, like that was like our song. And like it's so many good memories of like songs that he had, Young Thug and stuff. And like it makes me sad like knowing that most of the people from that era are like dying like quick, like, and knowing that he's only 4 years older than I am right now. It just really was sobering and just
so
like, oh
young.
shit,
so young. That's what I'm saying. Really, young men put that stuff down. If you can't put it down, we need to just have more access to certain stuff.
We gotta have access, but also a lot of men, especially black men, please go to therapy. Like, please work through this stuff. Like, I know it may seem like there's nothing to live for, but like, just try. Because I think a lot of the things that a lot of black men I feel like are chasing, it's a result of just feeling like shit. And I get it, it's tough, but like, please go talk to somebody, get help, because you're using substances to suppress like there's shit there. Like, so I don't know, like, I guess, like, did they say that it definitely was an overdose that caused him to sleep?
That is just the rumor that I have seen.
Yeah, same. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anything though, like, hopefully it's not that. But if it is, you know, I'm just praying for his family, because even just like TMZ releasing that 911 call, it was just so gross. Like,
oh my god.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that? They released the 911 call of his partner, and she was like trying to like keep, you know, resuscitate him, and literally she saw he was asleep, you know, put the blanket on him on the couch, was like, okay, I'll come back, went to drop her kid off, came back, and she noticed he wasn't breathing and called 911. And the lady's like, do you have a defibrillator? I was just like, a what? Like, of course you're not gonna have friend. I said I was so pissed. But anyway, so
he literally was just like what she was. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a mess. So, but yeah, like, rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan. Like, that was my college, and that really hurt. And then just seeing the videos of how cool and chill of a person he was, I was just like, bruh, like, why? So.
Yeah, somebody said walking through the club when walkthrough was really on, like, you cannot see me.
Friend, that was different. Friend, that was different.
We'll never have that again.
It was different. I got chills.
We'll never have
I have chills. Oh my gosh.
Literally walking through yo, you couldn't tell me nothing. You literally couldn't see me. In fresh rainbow.
Friend, fresh rainbow. And then for me, it was like, you just won a game, fresh rainbow coming in,
snap.
Maybe the football team just won, everybody, home game, bro. Crazy, but
it was a time.
Rest in peace. Thank you, Rich Homie, for all the good memories.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to listen to that. I'm going to look back on all that so fondly. So thank you.
Damn.
All right, y'all. But that was our topics of the week.
Wow. Thank you, friend. That was really great. Those were really good topics. Yeah, now we're going to get into the mess. Okay?
Y'all.
Friend, what... we gonna get to the mess because Mercury retrograde was rough for everybody. There was a lot of people who were getting exposed. We should do an episode where it's literally like who got exposed in Mercury retrograde 2024 because it was a lot of people.
Yeah.
But one of the people that got it the hardest was Sedona Prince of the TCU Horned Frogs. She got it bad. It started August 13th, 2024 when their ex, sorry, I'm not sure what the pronouns are. So their ex.
I'm not sure either.
Olivia Stabile, I think it is, Stabile. She posted like an 8-10 part video of the trip to Mexico from hell. Like, it was terrible. And it was basically these TikToks were accusing Prince of domestic violence and emotional and mental abuse during the relationship, but more so during this trip. And she gives very vivid, very in your face examples that could classify Sedona as a narcissist, allegedly. So because of these TikToks, it actually encouraged 4 more victims to come out.
Oh.
And they told their stories. Well, in a variation. We had 2 people that kind of told their stories, and then 2 other people that kind of did very cryptic TikToks. But we're going to get into that. But today we're going to highlight these stories. We're going to highlight the domestic abuse and violence that was prevalent, and just kind of talk about how it relates to the DV that's prevalent in women-loving women relationships especially, and also the toxic masculinity in these masks presenting people and women. We talked a little bit about it in the stud culture episode, but we really going to get into it today because this story is crazy.
No, it's actually crazy.
It's actually wild. What do you know about Sedona? Do you remember when you first saw them?
I feel like it had to have been either, if not 2020. Yeah, because that was when I got onto TikTok. It was them and that very tiny girl. And they were the couple. They were the couple. Yeah. And then I think it was within the next 2 years, she had... break up, and every single one of them had said at that time something to really make sure that they were distancing themselves from Sedona. So that was a red flag, and then now I can't escape it on my timeline. I cannot escape the stories.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel okay, we're gonna get into it because it's just crazy because we have I think the stories of the victims, but then we also have resolutions of what's going on after the stories came out, and then we have people breaking down Sedona's all of their mannerisms and if they're accountable, all this. So we're gonna get into it. So Sedona Prince is a 6'7" super senior who plays for the TCU Horned Frogs. So super senior is essentially somebody who is playing more than I would say more than 5 years. So she has played for 3 different teams. The first team was the University of Texas, where she didn't really play at all because of an injury that she had gotten before the season started, and they mismanaged it at that school. They did mismanage it. It was like really bad. And so they ended up transferring to Oregon, where most people are probably familiar with their game. And that's where they kind of had the most like points and notoriety. And that's also where they became known for outing the NCAA and like the inequity when it comes to the weight room. So like when the NCAA tournament happens, it's like simultaneous, like maybe like a week, it's like a week or two off from the men's and the women's, right? But they were able to to record a video of the men's locker room versus the women's locker room, and it went viral. And from there it started to actually like question the like inequity between both women and men's sports in the NCAA and how unfair it was. So many people know her from there. And then now after Oregon, her last year at Oregon, she ended up tearing a ligament in her elbow. And after that, they decided to like go to TCU. And so at TCU is where they're finishing off their career. So essentially the NCAA gave her a hardship waiver. So what that means is like because of all the stuff she'd been through with all the injuries and all that, this and that, they're like, okay, you've had it rough. We're going to go ahead and give you this last year. Because last year when they were playing at TCU, they had started and then they broke their finger. Forgot to say that. So they've had a lot going on. They've had a lot of injuries, and they actually they're actually a pretty good player. Like their stats are like, when they were their last season just now at TCU, they were 19.7 points average, 9.7 rebounds, 1.9 assists, and 55.2% field goal before they broke their finger. So they're putting up numbers. They were a McDonald's All-American in high school. They were part of the USA team in high school. Like they're putting up numbers, but all the injuries makes them a super senior. So for everybody who's confused, that is why. Okay. And also with the COVID year, it's like more common too. So I think there's still at like a couple people that are still in college because of that COVID year, but it's like almost over, I think. So yeah, so like they're a super senior. They're very known on TikTok. They're making all this money. They have all these followers. And they're also known in just like advocating for just people in the NCAA, student athletes. So like they're part of, have you heard of that, like the antitrust lawsuit that's going on right now with the NCAA? Mm-mm. So basically it's, Sedona is a plaintiff in 2 antitrust lawsuits, and the one that's the most important is the one that's it's including House versus NCAA. So they actually just did a settlement on it, which is basically like they want the NCAA to pay athletes directly. So not only do athletes get NIL deals, but they get paid, which would be great because like you get the athletes that were there from like 2016 can get back pay. So I was there in 2016, so let's hope for a real, you know what I'm saying, we get a little chunk change. So technically, they're a part of that lawsuit. And like, so all that to say, I'm giving you the mind frame of like, they're pretty powerful in the NCAA. They're powerful in their reach of like, you know, fighting for the advocacy of student athletes, of women, of people, queer people, like, you know, like they have this whole thing about them. It's like, okay, they're really great at this, but then also we find out they're like a monster behind the scenes, allegedly. So it's just a lot to take in, because it's like, okay, like, yeah, we'll get into it, but essentially that is Sedona. That's just a little intro about her. How do you feel about hearing all of this?
Okay. No, I appreciate the background on why she's been there so long, or why they've been there so long. Didn't know that they were even really, because whenever somebody online too much and they're a student athlete, I'm like, you're not in the books and you're not in that gym, so what's going on? But apparently she was. So all right.
Yeah, they were doing some work. The thing that I'm realizing, like, I mean, we don't know how much in the books they really are in, okay? But what I do know is they're making that money. And this whole escapade, everything that's happening, I've been paying attention to not only just like, you know, like their follower count, but also the like follower counts and views of all the people involved and like their numbers. It's been interesting because I feel like it's still, even though this is definitely about DV and abuse, like I'm not, you know, questioning anybody, but everybody getting paid, the numbers are looking interesting. So I think it's like influencers like beef in a sense. I don't know, it's interesting. But yeah, we're gonna get into it. So let's get into the victims. The main victim, the one that came out with their story first, was Olivia Stabile. So she released the 10-part video series that described this Mexico trip. So I'm trying. It's hard because, of course, like any women loving women relationship, there's just so much shit. Like there's so much to like go through that
y'all couldn't even imagine.
There's so much, and I've been trying to figure out how to bullet point it. So just tell me if like there's holes in the story. Just ask me, like, and we'll go back over it. But we're gonna go through Olivia's story like the most, and then I'll get into like the aftermath and the other victims as well, and we'll get into that. Okay. So, first rule of retrograde: don't text your ex.
Ooh.
What does Sedona do? They text their ex. They text their ex saying, "You tarnished what we had."
Yes.
So then Olivia said,
that was the little short one, right?
Yeah. It's the short one. It's the one that she had like the kind of hair that's like flowy. Like, yeah. So he texted Olivia and was saying, "You tarnished what we had," on some toxic stuff. You know, like I don't think Sedona really thought people would see it. I don't know why, but I don't think they did. And Olivia said, "I'm done. Look, it's over. Like, I'm sick of this. I didn't even know I could still get your text because I blocked you. So I'm about to break down everything that happened in Mexico." And starts out, it don't even start out well. They're on the plane to Mexico, and Olivia accidentally spills her beer on Sedona's lap. Sedona gets pissed off because it's in the morning, because Sedona is grouchy in the morning, so we can't piss Sedona off. And because Sedona had beer on their lap now, they decide to go on the other side of the aisle and sit away from Olivia as punishment. And Olivia is crying, looking out the window. So that's how it starts. So we already just like, this isn't gonna be good. It's setting up the scene. Okay. First night at the resort, Prince Sedona wants to go ATV riding, and Sedona says, "Let's not go with our phones. Let's be present in the moment." They leave their phones in the hotel. Dead of night. They driving in Mexico on this ATV, and there's a sign. It was like these arches, and Sedona is like, "Yeah, let's just go," and drives under the arch. Now, mind you, behind these arches is jungle. There's signs that there's jaguars around because it is the jungle. They keep driving. Okay, Sedona's driving recklessly. Liv's begging her to stop. Eventually, she shoves Liv on the ground and then rides off into the jungle by herself. Liv is sitting on the ground by herself in the dark, no phone, aimlessly turning around because she don't know where she at. She don't know what to do. Sedona eventually comes back and ends up flipping the ATV because she's driving recklessly again, flips it, and she falls over. Liv, being the good girlfriend that she is, comes over. It's like, "Hey, you okay?" And she pushes Liv again, and it's like, "This is your fault. You were holding me back. This is what happens."
Only one of us would have made it back. I'll tell you that much.
friend.
Only one of us would have made it back from the jungle.
Cause I'm just like, how? But then you gotta think about it. Like Sedona is 6'7". Like I don't know if people have been around people that are even like 6'4", 6'5". 6'7" is a different height. It's different.
I hear what you're saying.
And like she's not even like skinny. She's like thick. Like, like for somebody who's lives got to be like 5'3", if that. It's an
and they always
power.
Specifically were with like people that it was such a dramatic like height difference. Like I think they had a thing for short girls.
Yes,
which
definitely
makes it even
a preference.
more like weird.
It's
weird
it's
when
more
guys
than.
Do it too.
Yeah, I feel like it's more than coincidental, and it's strange.
Twice, is a coincidence. Anytime after that is a pattern.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one thing for sure. They would have not seen daylight ever again. And I think we need to let this be a lesson to let it take one time, as much as you possibly can. Young people, let it be one time that they have you looking boo-hoo-the-fool, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
That's all it takes.
Just let it be the one. Don't try and confirm and make sure. Let that was the impression that they've left now. That has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. Try your best to let it be the one time. And try to make sure that it happens when you're not overseas somewhere. Please, I beg of you.
I just think it's the scariest thing. Like, I couldn't imagine being in the middle of a Mexican jungle where there's jaguars and your partner just shoved you off and you don't know where the fuck they went. You have no idea.
Fran.
Yeah, so thankfully there was some nice Samaritans in a pickup truck that were like, yo, what's going on? And Liv was able to talk to them like, hey, can you help get us back? And they were like, yeah, sure, good people, thankfully. They hitched the ATV to the back of this truck. And so Liv and Sedona are on the ATV as the truck's driving, just, stay on it. During this time, Sedona is swerving it on the hitch, just reckless. Liv begging her to stop, please stop. Whole time Sedona's like, I'm breaking up with you, we're done, it's over, blah blah blah. And Liv was like, okay, great, let's talk about it at the hotel, because obviously it seems like Liv is used to this, right? They crash again off the hitch because because Sedona is swerving so much, and so they both fall off. And so the guys come out and they're like, what's going on? And all Liv remembers is seeing Sedona wave the guys off like, we're good, go ahead, we're good. And tells them to leave them there in the jungle by themselves with no phone and a trashed ATV. So at this point, Liv is just like, what the fuck? So they end up walking. Somehow, they I guess they're walking in the right direction. And Sedona at this time is skipping next to Liv, and it's like, woo, I'm single now. Where's my Latino baddie at? What's going on? Where's my baddie at? So they thankfully find a car. They what you call it? Hitchhike, find a car, get back to the hotel. Sedona is like super drunk, has to be escorted back up to the room by hotel staff. Next morning is Sedona's birthday. So Liv is like, you know what? Let's make this a fresh start. It's your birthday. I love you. Like, what do you want to do today? Sedona tells Liv, quote, we're broken up. I don't want to spend my birthday with you. Fuck you. So Liv's trying to figure out what the fuck. Okay, how do I make things better. I'm trying to make things better, how to make things better. So Liv goes out and gets somebody to take her to the crashed ATV. She brings it to the people that they rented it from, pays the $800 in damages, goes back to the hotel, and then asks the front desk for like some medical supplies or some help, because both of them had like scratches and burns from the crash, the multiple crashes actually. And so the medical staff come upstairs or whatever, but they see her wounds, and then they see Liv's wounds, and they go to Liv first because Liv had more wounds. There's some video that actually that Liv had shown where it was just like big burns on her love handles, on her arm, her elbow, just like messed up. And she was saying that she could feel and see Sedona visibly being upset that they were tending to her first and not to Sedona.
Textbook narcissism.
I mean, it's textbook. I don't even know, like, it can't be more textbook than that.
Can't write that kind of stuff, folks.
You really can't, actually. So Sedona takes a nap the whole day. Later that night, they had a reservation for a birthday dinner that Liv had scheduled for 8:30 p.m. Sedona wakes up at 8, blows off the dinner reservation, and is just like, quote, "You know what? I'm going to spend my birthday alone. Fuck you." And she just leaves. Doesn't say where she's going, nothing, just leaves. So Liv is just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna stay here. Like, I don't know what else to do. She's dressed up at this point thinking she's going to dinner. Obviously they're not going to dinner. Whatever. A couple hours later, Sedona texts Liv and says that she's getting a tattoo up the street and that Liv should pull up. I'm sorry, I can't. Sedona also apologizes for her behavior and says that she just wants her birthday to be, quote, manic. I feel like every time there's a red flag, I'm waiting for Liv to say no. Like, I'm waiting for Liv to be like, I'm not doing this. I just
let it be the one time, y'all. Let them show their monkey ass once. Time and once only.
Cause I just really am just like, I couldn't let somebody disrespect me that many times. But also, I'm not gonna validate her experience. I don't know what her past is like to where she feels like she has to stay or pamper a narcissistic person. So I ain't gonna do it like that. But yes, right. So that was interesting. The term manic really jumped out to me because I'm like, out of all the words you could have used, why that? Then Liv goes up to this tattoo shop and she finds Sedona taking shots with 5 other women in a tattoo shop. Thankfully,
similar experience.
Sorry, why?
I'm sorry.
It's okay, friend. I ain't laughing at your pain. I'm laughing with you, kinda.
Like, I gotta let the jokes fly. I gotta let them fly. I owe it to myself.
I mean, we're gonna get into the toxic masculinity. Sorry. No, you're good. We're gonna get into toxic masculinity because that's what that is. Thankfully, 3 of the 5 women weren't really like, they were just there. They ended up becoming friends with Liv. They were on Liv's side. They were like, yo, we just here. Like, those other 2 girls, they not with us. They had a different friend group. The other 2 girls were flirting hard with Sedona, asked her for a threesome. Yeah. In front of Liv. Then Sedona was like, hey, when you done with your tattoo?
That was not very demure.
Not very demure, not very mindful at all. Because then Sedona wants to go to this villa where all the girls are staying. And it's like, yeah, Liv, like, when you're done with your tattoo, let's go to this villa, whatever. So Liv basically is going to this villa so that her partner doesn't cheat on her, essentially. Because at this point, they're technically still together.
Honey.
I don't know. Friend.
Diva.
It just gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. They get in the car. They get in this taxi, whatever. They headed to the villa, and Liv is on Sedona's lap. She can sense that Sedona is mad that Liv is on her lap and not the Latina baddie that's sitting next to her. Francesca's her name. She called her out. Her name's Francesca. They head to the villa, and damn, it's like it's just long as hell. Okay, they head to the villa, and Liv and the 3 girl friend group that were chill, they go to the bathroom. They're like, yo, what's up with your girlfriend? Like, she flirting openly in front of you. Like, what's going on? What's wrong with her? She look crazy. And Liv was like, thank you for validating me. Like, I'm feeling crazy. I'm feeling gaslit. Blah, 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 blah. They were like, we got your back. Don't even worry about it. Blah, blah. They go back to the pool. Guess what they found, friend? They found Sedona topless in the pool, holding Francesca around the waist, while Francesca is pouring Don Julio down Sedona's throat.
That fast?
That fast. So Liv was just like, crazy. Topless is crazy. Right. So Liv is just kind of like, what the fuck's going on? And Liv is like, okay, well, I'm going to leave because I'm not staying for this.
Thank God.
Sedona says, quote, if you leave, I'm going to fuck her tonight. So, Liv was just like, okay, fuck it. All right, fine. Her friends, her newfound friends are cussing out the girl, like cussing out Sedona, like la la la, whatever. So they get all the way to the front of the villa. Liv realizes she got Sedona's phone still.
That is not my problem. Not my problem.
Well, it was Liv's problem because Liv was just like, oh, fuck it. I gotta go back. Well, no. First, no. I take that back. Liv's newfound friends were like, you know what? Fuck it. You stay up here so you ain't got to deal with that. We gonna take it back. Okay? Amen. They take it back. Liv said all she heard was screams. Liv was like, what the fuck going on? The girls come back. They were like, yo, the look in your girlfriend's eyes was scary as fuck, bro. She crazy, bro. Blah, blah, blah. Like, they said her eyes got dark and they were afraid. So they were like, look, mama, you text us when you get to the hotel. We out. Left. So then Liv was like, fuck it. Goes back to the pool and finds Sedona like in the bushes complaining of her ankle being possibly broken. And she's like super drunk. And so Liv decides to help her get into a cab and they go back to the hotel. And again, Sedona is helped back up to her room by hotel staff. So that was day 2.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was night 2. So yeah, the next day was the breaking point for Liv because when Sedona woke up, she was like, we're broken up. I told my mom we're broken up, it's over. And so Liv was just like, okay, fuck it, like I guess it really is over. We bringing moms into this, that means it's really done. So then Sedona calls her mom and her mom's like, hey honey, like how's your trip going? How's your birthday? And Sedona's like, it was terrible. Liv ruined it. We're broken up. So then Liv was like, well, how about you tell your mom how you were fucking another woman in front of me? And they get into an argument. And that was the breaking point for Liv. She packed her bags. She headed back to the States. And I think Sedona ended up staying for like 12 more days because it was like supposed to be like a 2-week trip or some shit. And so they ended up staying for those 12 days. And then once Sedona got back, Liv was able to get her stuff from their joint apartment or place or whatever. But it wasn't till Liv got all of her stuff that's when Sedona started to act weird. And this was, quote, the text that she received from Sedona. Quote, have an amazing life, Olivia. Truly, I hope you find your soulmate. It's not me. Best wishes and have a great life. If you do not want any more troubles, then do not go to social media. If you do want to post about our breakup, I will sue you and your family, my baby, until you can no longer put food on y'all's table. And you know that's the truth. Bye, sweet, beautiful angel. I will meet you in the next lifetime.
The call is coming from inside the house. The killer is inside.
Like, I've never... Like, that text was kind of one of the most chilling texts I think I've ever read. Just because it just was, like, so diabolical and so cruel. Yeah. It was so cruel. How do you feel after breaking down all of that? I think I may have missed some stuff, but it wasn't really important. This was, like, heavy-duty stuff.
I can't imagine there being more than that. It is such just textbook, like, male narcissism, which is, like, crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they act like a man, a straight man. Horrifying. And the whole, like, when they first were walking back to the hotel after they threw them off their bike twice, and they're walking back bruised and burnt up, Sedona being like, woo, I'm single now. Like, that is such, like, lame, classic, just horrible boyfriend behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Like, literally, like, Jersey Shore, like, that's Ron from Jersey Shore.
Oh,
like,
that is Ron.
And that's the dynamic that I think they just constantly wanted. They wanted to be Ron and Sam with somebody so bad. Nobody wants to be your Sam, you psycho. That's why Ron doesn't have Sam now. You're crazy.
Crazy. Yeah, friend. It was like a crazy story because I've been in emotionally manipulative relationships before. It makes sense, and it just sucks because it's just like when you're the victim of it, like, you don't really know how to really counteract it because all you want to do is just make it better and kind of like get back to the person you first met, but that person was never there. And I think that's what gets a lot of the victims that I see caught up with Sedona is, like, you know, a lot of their stories are similar. They're, you know, Sedona's charming, super sweet, blah blah blah, and then they give you a little bit and they take it back. They just give you enough to get you to be like, okay, like, disarm you, and then they bring it back. So yeah, this series really just rattled everybody. We all were just tuned in. I was just like, what is going on? So this encouraged next Faithlynn Caruso to come out with her story. And her story wasn't as extensive. It was actually pretty short and sweet, which I really appreciated, especially for research purposes. But essentially, they had a short situationship. Faithlynn invited Sedona to New York for New York Pride to hang out with her and some of her friends. You know, who are older, more mature, whatever, because they had a really good trip prior to that. So Faithlynn was like, okay, she seems really sweet, cool, like, all right, whatever. But then Sedona got super drunk, started talking about, oh, like, I'm gonna marry Faithlynn, I'm gonna have kids with her, I love her, blah, blah, blah. To all the friends, the party friends were like, what's going on? Y'all only met 2 times. Like, what's going on? Faithlynn is like, yo, like, why are you doing this? It's strange. And Sedona's so, like, volatile when she's angry that, like, she was trying to run into the street during Pride, and Faithlynn was like, shit, well, you know, she don't really know her way around, so Faithlyn's like, let me go, like, get him or whatever. And Sedona shoves Faithlynn when Faithlynn's trying to help her or whatever, and Faithlynn was like, okay, that's pretty much it. Somehow got Sedona back to the room, got her to shower and to go to bed, and then when she woke up was like, you gotta get out, you can't stay, you gotta pack, change your flight and leave. Like, Faithlynn was not playing, and that's what I appreciated.
Let it be one time.
I could tell once they said, oh, not told them to leave, and then a couple days later through text was like, this ain't gonna work, ended it. So shout out to Faithlynn for cutting it off early. Sorry that she had to go through that though, because that's fucked up. Yeah. Trigger warning: sexual assault. One of the victims that came out later, she goes by Reese on TikTok, and so she alleges that on a first date with Sedona, things were great at first. Then at the end of the night, when she was supposed to go home, Sedona sexually assaulted her. And that one hurt because, one, it's not cool. 2, I feel like Reese is visibly a woman of color as not compared to like the other women. So I thought it was interesting that like she's the one that's taken advantage of. So that kind of bothered me too. And also I feel like her story isn't getting as much traction as the other 2 stories, which also kind of bothers me because it's the most serious claim and it's not really being investigated properly. Everyone's kind of focused on Liv, which, you know, I'm not saying like who's more important, whose story, whatever, but also at the same time, like, this woman of color who doesn't have a lot of money, who was in her story, said that Sedona threatened her with legal action, considering that like her family doesn't have money, she don't have money, and got the worst treatment, I think, out of everybody. And no one's really talking about that. Really hurt. So I wanted to give light to her story because it wasn't fair, and that was really concerning. There were 2 other victims. So Crystal, a woman that she had dated in the past, who kind of like came out a while back with some of her story, but I guess it wasn't received as well as Olivia and Faithlynn. And so this time around, with everything coming out, they just put kind of some cryptic TikToks of just like, you know, when I tried to come out, no one was really hearing me and blah blah blah. But it wasn't really nothing to write home about, just basically solidifying that Sedona is allegedly a monster. Right. But the person that we all were waiting on to come out with a statement didn't come out with a TikTok until after Sedona's apology, which I thought was interesting. We're gonna get into that after. Let's go ahead and watch. Let me see. I want to try this thing. See if we can watch Sedona's apology, and I want to see what you make of it. We gonna watch this together and take notes.
Stomach turn.
Friend, watch this together and take notes. All right, hold on.
All right, hello everyone. I have seen and heard everything that's been said and what's transpired these last few weeks on the internet, and I have been quiet because I've genuinely just been listening and taking everything in. I have been holding myself accountable and reflecting into the mistakes that I've made and the things I've done in my past in order to be completely honest and transparent with y'all and hold myself accountable to the internet, right? Like I should have done a long time ago. And I wasn't ready to yet until last night. My parents were brought into this, and now my 60 and almost 70-year-old mother and father have been receiving countless death threats and getting harassed all day and are scared. It's cruel, it's wrong, and it's not the way that we should hold each other accountable. It's just not right. Now, I I have never abused anybody in my life. That's not who I am. That's not what I do. That's not what I stand for. I've never abused anybody emotionally, physically, mentally, verbally. That's not me, and that's not what I've done. That's not who I am. Now, in saying that, though, right, I know that I have not been the best partner, and I take accountability for that. I have not been a great girlfriend at times, and I have fallen short so many times in my relationships. I wanted to give my all. I wanted to be the best partner that I could be. I just didn't have the right tools at the time, and I wasn't that complete person that I thought that I was. And to my ex-girlfriends, I genuinely am sorry. I really am. These past 4 months, and a lot of, the last years of my life, but especially these past 4 months, I have been completely off social media and locked out from all the outside noise in the world to focus on myself and to go to intense trauma therapy and to heal so much pain that's been with me, right, for so long and affecting the choices that I make and the things that I do in my adult life. I have been journaling, right, meditating, these things that I need to do in order to be the best person that I can be and consistently grow and heal and learn and develop into the human being and the adult that I know that I can be. I hope that everyone involved in this can just find peace and healing and forgiveness, and that we can move on and learn something from this, and that, you all know that in my life, all I strive to do is to be good and to give back and to help people and to make this world a better place. And that's all I will continue to do. It is. So, thanks.
Oh, Lord, that was rough.
It sounded like she was running for class president and she had to fill up the time.
That was insane.
I think maybe this is like specifically a white people thing, but it's like they'll learn the words accountability and growth and therapy, and they'll just throw them all. Like, you can't just throw all those words at me and just like they mean things.
Yeah.
Taking accountability doesn't mean I have listened to everything someone has said about me, or I have listened to all the things that everyone has said about me. That is not taking accountability. That's listening. Taking accountability is consuming that, making those notes, and then going through therapy, and then coming back around and recognizing exactly how and why what you did was wrong. That is taking accountability. It's accepting some form of responsibility in the situation where you were responsible for hurting someone. To say immediately after that, I have never abused anyone, is...
It's mind-boggling. It's disgusting,
It's kind of damning within itself. To say it so blatantly like that, it feels almost like legally they have to cover their backside, or like, I'm so bored. That could have been 60 seconds. I'm not sure why it was as long as it was. They said a whole lot of nothing. I don't know how much time has passed between when those stories have come out until now, or until that statement came out from Sedona. But it would be impossible to have taken accountability when the stories have just come out, and to have gone through all of this therapy that you speak of, like trauma therapy, and to now come to this point of enlightenment and wishing everyone healing. Where are they healing from if you were never an abuser?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I guess to put it in perspective, Olivia came out with her story on August 13th, and then today is September 8th, so Sedona came out with that response maybe like a couple days ago. So it still isn't enough time to really have clarity. I think that she should have just had full accountability and just been like, hey, like, I want to apologize for anyone that's been hurt by my actions or whatever. And I know, like, legally she's trying to, like, clean up stuff, but, like, there was no accountability whatsoever, like, none. Yeah, it just made me sick. You know when you look at somebody and they make your skin crawl because you could tell they just slimy and just saying whatever they got to say, and like the little smirk that she had bothered me. The smirk bothered me because I'm just like, you know there's going to be no repercussions for this. You know that you're going to be able to get away with this and do what you want to do. And I think that was the part that was the most infuriating to watch and witness. So yeah, because even though she's getting some like press, a lot of the press isn't taking it as seriously, which is also very frustrating. They're not really talking about it. Like the one article that actually really addressed it was USA Today, and they were kind of just focusing on the petition that came out. Right now, I think there's like, let's see how many signatures it has. As of September 7th, there's 190,127 signatures to have Sedona removed from the TCU team, which TCU is not really paying attention to. They've already said, like, they're not going to do anything about it. But yeah, it's very sad. The next section we're going to look into real quick is the domestic violence that is prevalent in queer relationships. Some stats I found is that around 44% of lesbian and 61% of bisexual women have experienced forms of rape or physical violence by an intimate partner, as compared to 35% of straight women. So that's really concerning. I think we've all kind of heard of how women love in women relationships, there's more DV and sexual harassment or assault, but just seeing it in black and white was like jarring. Yeah. Another stat was saying that Black and African American members of the queer community are more likely to experience physical violence in relationships. And 26% of gay men and 37% of bisexual men have experienced forms of rape or physical violence by an intimate partner, compared to 29% of straight men, which I thought was interesting. So I'm like, damn, like straight men getting hit like that too? Like, I thought that was interesting.
It's higher than I could have imagined, yeah.
That's me too. I was kind of shocked by that, but then also wasn't surprised by the 37% of bisexual men, which really bothered me. But yeah, like, I think in our queer relationships, we need to evaluate why it's so easy to just abuse each other. That's not right. And also we need to address the toxic masculinity. So obviously, in that video we watched of Sedona, they are not taking any real accountability. They are not apologizing. They're literally just making a statement. Journaling and meditating isn't the same as getting evaluated. Like, they need to be evaluated by a psychologist. No cap. You talking about being manic or having a manic birthday, there might be a manic episode happening. You need to go talk to somebody.
You need to go see that lady.
Go see that lady. Go see that man. Go see that NB. See somebody. Because literally, like, for them to say that, and also another thread that I saw was, like, in most of the stories, the emotional ride that Sedona would go through. Like, 1 minute they're upset, 1 minute they're not. Like, it was a lot. So, yeah, that was definitely concerning. As we talked about in the stud culture episode, you know, like, masks are carrying the traits of cis straight men and just using it to have power over people instead of just, like, being respectful to femmes or other partners, loving who you love. Why are we doing this? One thing it made me think of with Sedona, especially because of, like, how prominent they are in the advocacy for student athletes, is, like, you know how the Black Panther Party, like, they were fighting for justice, like the men of the party, but they were also, like, a lot of them were, like, sexually harassing and assaulting women in the organization as well. Like, that's what it's giving to me. Like, it's giving, like, that of, like, you're putting out this perception, but you're really doing all this under the table. So do you really want equity, or do you just want power over somebody else?
Toxic masculinity within women-loving women relationships, specifically from mask-presenting sapphics, is an epidemic, I fear. It is simply transformed from just wanting to present how you naturally feel to deliberately wanting to align themselves with misogyny, or
yes,
maybe not align themselves, but they believe those same things and feel that because they present more masculine that they're kind of awarded those benefits of being perceived in this world as a man. And with that comes a lot of narcissism. With that comes the whole, like, multiple partners, thinking that they can just do whatever, speak to whoever, act however they want because they're masked. It's fascinating to me, and it's so tired as well, because, like, when I see it happening in men, I'm like, that trope is so late and so tired. Like, the whole, like, you know, player, like, just dirtbag, like, been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. But when I see it in, like, mass-presenting sapphics, now it's becoming even more tired, too. Like,
yeah,
you're also a stereotype. I just think that's so lame, you know? Turn the wigs around.
It's really lame. Turn the wigs around. Nah, yeah, it's definitely really lame. And I feel like the power they think they're holding it's not doing what they think it's doing, and they're gonna get left behind, like, whether they want to admit it or not. Like, we're calling it out, we're holding people accountable. Like, us in the community, we have to start holding these people accountable. We have to, like, call them out, embarrass them. Like, they gotta stop. Yeah, so what now? Everyone is decoding Sedona's apology. Olivia has spoken out against Sedona's statement because it really wasn't an apology, pointing out all the fallacies. Sedona's mom comments on Olivia's video and is basically telling Liv to tell the truth and all this mess. And so Olivia starts beefing with her and calling her out. And yeah, I was like, Sedona's mom, like, if she's 70 or whatever the fuck, like, just stay off the internet. Stay off the internet. But then now we know why Sedona is the way that they are. Faithlynn also called Sedona out on the terrible statement that they made. So Sedona's ex, Riley, who we've been waiting on, Riley was the partner right before Olivia that everybody was trying to figure out what's going on. So Riley know her power. Riley knew. So Riley came out with a video kind of like trolling it a little bit, but then there's like this one screenshot that Riley put up, right? People have been decoding that screenshot for days. I be seeing people there like, oh, you see this one? Like, decoding all the text and the pictures, trying to figure out what's what and zooming in. I was like, I can't. For my mental health, I can't look at these videos because it's too much. It's too much. Y'all are really invested, and I love that for y'all, but I can't do it. So yeah. I gave up on that. But shout out to Riley for coming out with her version of her story. I guess she had come out previously in her own way and no one really believed her, so I think that's why she's kind of guarded. Is she doing like a small little thing instead of like a whole talk tell all whatever. I told you about the petition. It's currently at 190,000 signatures. They're trying to get it to 200,000, so we're gonna keep an eye out. A school spokesperson from TCU told the Fort Worth Telegram in August that Sedona's status as an active member on the team is intact. So Sedona ain't going nowhere, y'all. I'm sorry to say it, especially since they just got Haley Van Lith as a transfer to come over, and so they're expecting big things. So Sedona ain't going nowhere unless she kills somebody. Let's be honest.
One thing about a student athlete, they're gonna get away with DV charges. They're gonna get away with abuse
until it don't benefit the school. Until it don't benefit the school. Until they want to get rid of you.
Until something is so undeniable, that school is gonna
ride till the wheels fall off. Ride till the wheels fall. Because if you think about the power Sedona has, like all of the followers Sedona has, how much money. When I looked up an article and it said that Sedona, the first year of the NIL deals, with it only being available for like 6 months, they made $550,000 in 2021. Who? Sedona?
Just Sedona?
Just Sedona, like by herself.
Damn.
Made $550,000 off of sponsorships, off of like everything. So I don't even want to know how much she's making right now. Don't want to, because it'll piss me off. Yeah. Don't want to know. Yeah. So that power, she's gonna have to do something really bad for them to get rid of her. So it's not happening, y'all. Oh, yeah. But I appreciate the effort. But yeah, Fran, what are your final thoughts? How you feel about everything in this whole like escapade? We finally got through it. But like, how do you feel about everything?
So I hadn't listened all the way through to the stories of the girls, just because it was too much. It was too much and it was too many. And I felt like every day there was a new story. But knowing everything that I know now, I simply wish nothing but the worst for them. But unfortunately, the way that their trajectory is going, they're probably going to be just fine if they can make it through this. They're more than likely going to be able to bury this enough, because as the wave of just traffic on the internet is going, this story is already starting to kind of fizzle out. It's already filing its way down at the bottom. But I do feel for those girls. I think even if Sedona is able to continue to have a career with all of this on their back, I hope at the very least what I think is happening is the girls are desperately trying to just make sure that it doesn't happen to someone else again. You'll never be able to reach everyone, and there are some girls that are just like freaks that like are obsessed with people like that, which not my space to judge, but at the very least the exposure of their stories will hopefully help someone else from not being able to get trapped in that mess. Stuff like this makes me not want to have kids, because if I were to find out that my child was out in the middle of Mexico and got left in the jungle twice, I have a gun. I'm joking. I'm going to beat you with a bat.
No, literally.
To a pulp.
Because what else is there to do? I don't know.
I'm going for the ankles. Boom. You're down. You're down.
You're done.
I'm going straight. I'm diving straight for the ankles. Full body weight. Yeah. Boom. You're on the ground. Yeah, my final thoughts are, masks need to switch it up. Y'all need a new hairstyle, a new hair color, a new haircut. And I need the femmes, I need my sisters to stop allowing a nice smile and a pretty face to let you be blinded to the atrocities that they are committing, because you think it'll never be me, and it'll always be you. And I hate that for us. But one day we'll be free. Today's not that day, but one day we will be free.
Thank you for them closing thoughts, friend. One day we will be free. I know I won't be able to see it. I won't be there to see it, but one day we will be. Another note to add: Sedona was last seen out at Dave and Buster's with a woman, a black woman named Terica. Now we are all.
Oh yes. I was seeing that, and I went, "Oh, brother."
So, brother, this guy stinks. Yeah. We're praying that Terica has TikTok and can see what's going on, and we're hoping that a sister is not being sucked into this mess. But you know, it goes to that of like thinking we're the one that can change someone. You can't change an alleged narcissist. You just can't. Like, no. You will lose every time. That person needs deep evaluation. Like, it was too much going on.
And a chemical cocktail. Deep evaluation and a chemical cocktail. That's not something that can be journaled and meditated out. So sorry. That's a chemical imbalance, diva. Yeah, no, I will say, Miss Thing, the new girl, you have 30 minutes. You literally have 30 minutes. Run. Everyone is trying their best to like reach out to her, send smoke signals, but no luck yet. But I'm really hoping that she sees the light eventually. Because the thing is they're always going to show you who they are. This person that you see right now on those few dates does not exist. They never did. They just wanted your attention, and you gave it to them.
It's a facade. Yeah, we're just gonna pray for everybody involved. My final thoughts are: this was a crazy, complete mess, but it was a good, up close and personal view on what it looks like to be in a physically abusive relationship, but also an emotionally abusive women-loving women relationship. And I think that's what people needed to see, because I think we don't give full examples. Everyone uses gaslight, everyone uses narcissists and this, that, and the third, but we don't get prime examples like this. And this was like textbook, and I'm hoping that this will, like you said, serve as a warning to others to be wary of her, but for other people who are weaponizing and yielding their power and emotional intelligence against you in order to get you to do whatever they want you to do. Like people like this, they're, propped up by their parents, as we see with Sedona's mother, who is showing no shame that your child is acting a fool on the internet. Masks, we gotta stand up. Look, my mask people, look, we gotta figure this out. Y'all gotta stop doing this. We gotta hold each other accountable, and I think that's where the issue comes, because that's where we get into like the whole like misogyny. And if you sitting back and you're not commenting on it, and you're just sitting there while your friend is doing this sus stuff and acting a fool, that's the issue. Quick story though, I saw a TikTok from when Sedona was at Oregon, and one of her teammates was asking everybody, who would you not let date your daughter or son? And everybody said Sedona. So,
y'all be knowing.
If you know, they know, especially teammates, because when you on a team, especially college, you see each other too much. I know things about people I don't want to know that I know. The fact that y'all all knew, y'all need to start warning people. If you know this person is toxic, warn people.
Warn a brother.
Right. So yeah, y'all, this was Femininity and Sedona Prince. I was thinking it should have been called Surviving Sedona, so stay tuned, working title. But yeah, we're excited to see y'all next week. Thank you so much for watching this far. I know this was like a lengthy episode, so thank you for paying attention. Please like, share, subscribe, please. And comment any experiences you've had, if you've dealt with manipulative people or partners, please let us know. It's a safe space. We're all here
I'm with you, sister.
To come together, because we all been through it in our own ways. So, but yeah,
don't we know it? One day, you guys stay tuned. One day, because we could spend like 2 hours of me trying to tell that story.
I think you should do it one day.
One day, y'all.
I really do.
Stay tuned. All
right, y'all.
Guys.
Bye.